Hey everyone, welcome back to another HAOLONGGOOD review. Today we take a look at their second entry into theropods, their Carnotaurus. It was only a matter of time before HAOLONGGOOD got around to making this very popular theropod. Pretty much every company that makes dinosaur figures has a Carnotaurus in their lineup, so it was only a matter of time before HAOLONGGOOD got to theirs. I ended up getting these from AliExpress. My preferred seller on there that sells HAOLONGGOOD products is my online toy store. I always go for the no box version. It just comes with the foam insert that the figures come with inside the box. It usually saves me $2 to $3 on each figure doing that way without the box option. So I'll leave a link to them down below in the description, so really no need to go over the packaging. Every time I order from my online toy store, they do include these aquarium plants packaged in with the figures. I guess you can use them for diorama displays. So enough about that. Let's throw these two figures up on the turntable and take a closer look. And here are both Carnotaurus figures. There are two versions, the red and the gray version. And I have to say, HAOLONGGOOD did a really good job on these. For that $17 to $20 price point, you really can't beat the quality of the figures. That's something I always talk about in these reviews. Their figures are so affordable. It makes it very easy to pick up both versions. P&S will probably charge around $40. So you're basically getting two figures of P&SO, at least P&SO quality, for the price of two. Both figures are beautifully sculpted, features that classic Allosaurus look, the short snouts, the tiny forelimbs, and just, stout, muscular bodies. They have gone with the toothless look, and there is a reason for that. They are very communicative on the Dinosaur Toy Forum. Figures of this size, it's very hard to tool, I guess, the lip look for them, so that's why they've been going lipless on their theropods. However, their upcoming Plesiosaurus does have lips, and because of the feedback, their upcoming Dilophosaurus is now sculpted with the mouth closed to give it a lip look. So that's the trade-off that they're doing. Some companies like Beasts of the Mesozoic can pull off the lip look on much smaller figures. Tooling these figures is not a cheap endeavor, so I'm okay with the way they look. They do. When we get into the reviews, the lipless look is a little bit goofy on these figures, but all around, I think these figures are really great looking. And for measurements, these figures are 9 inches long from the tip of the tail to the tip of the snout, or around 22.9 centimeters, and about 3¼ inches tall to the top of the head, or 8¼ centimeters. So Carnotaurus in real life was between 24.6 feet to 26.2 feet long, or 7.5 to 8 meters. So I'll put these figures nicely in that 132 to the 135 scale range. And now let's zoom in and take a look at the first version of this figure. This is the Reddest version. Carnotaurus always feels right when there's a reddish coloration applied to it. Maybe it's just because of that devil look. But zooming in, take a look at the head. The head sculpt is really, really nicely done. Lots of nice scale detail all over that short pitbull-like snout. You can see the teeth are nicely painted, but when you close the mouth, you can see, just where the teeth will come out of the gums. It's really not painted, so it gives the figure a very, very weird look. It's not the worst thing in the world. With the mouth open, it looks much, much better, and the dark jaw articulation works very, very well. You get a nice flush fit. I really wish they could figure out a way, with their tooling, to get the lip look on these smaller theropod figures. I think it really would just, outclass everything out there if they can just pull that off. The orbit is all done in dark paint. You have a white eye with a black pupil. That dark coloration around the orbit really makes that eye pop. Here's a view from the front, and that is just an absolute great Carnotaurus profile with the horns poking out the side. You do have some large scales between those horns. I do have a tiny bit of paint wear on the tips of the horns. Both figures suffer from that. That just happens during shipping. It's really not a big deal. I can probably touch that up. Here's a view from the underside. A little bit of pink on the bottom of the throat. Going down to the neck, you have all this beautiful scale detail, all these osteoderms peppered throughout. Nice, very thick, powerful looking neck. And then going underneath, there's some nice folds and wrinkles. Going down to the completely vestigial forearms. Those are really, really nicely done. Love the black paint on them, with them just laying against the side. You have a nice barrel-chested torso. You can see all that nice paint apps on here. HAOLONGGOOD does a great job with their paint apps. Still can't believe the price of their figures. This is a $17 figure, and the paint apps are absolutely striking on here. You got a nice row of spikes along the back to go all the way down to about the midpoint of the tail. Going down to the legs, a nice powerful looking hind legs. Carnotaurus was considered to be a very speedy animal. Getting down to the legs, this is one of my criticism about the figure. The seam is really not blended too well in with the hind legs. It's just very, very noticeable. I think it's more noticeable on the gray version. And then going down to the hind legs, nicely sculpted hind legs, lots of nice details on there. Look at all that beautiful scale detail. Some black paint for the toes, and even the underside of the feet are nicely detailed. And then going around to the back, not really too much of a definition of a cloaca slit. I give that a C+. Butthole, base of the tail, nice and thick. You have a nice straight tail on here, some large scales near the end that kind of look a little weird. Rest of the scales on this figure are really proportionate up until you get to the end. So that is a very, very weird design choice, and I just absolutely love the active pose that this figure is sculpted in. But yeah, all around, this is a really nice looking figure. Just that lip look, wow, my camera did not like that for a second, just kind of gives the figure a slightly goofy look. And now for the gray version, still a nice version of Carnotaurus. You really don't see too many Carnotaurus figures in this duller coloration, so definitely, for people that don't like the bright coloration, this gray one may be a good option for you. Zooming in, same thing with the white eyes. Just love the way the eyes are painted on here. Just gives it a very, very lifelike look, and I just love looking at this thing from the front. Just what a wild looking animal Carnotaurus was. The lipless look on here, the teeth are painted a little bit better, but you can still see where they couldn't get all the paint apps around those teeth. The lower jaw are much better painted, and we didn't do the mouth details on the red version, so let's do it on the gray version. Give it a little bit of attention. Some nice mouth details in there. You get some nice glossy pink in there, nice washes to bring out all that nice detail. And then same thing, here's a view from the top of the head. You got all those large scales in there. And let's get the camera to focus in on that. Man, my hands are shaky. Gotta cut down on the coffee, Greg. And then going down to the neck, you have all this nice gray coloration with just like a splash of brown in there to bring out all that color. The figures are painted so well, and just look at all that nice scale detail, all those osteoderm rows peppered throughout the torso, going down to the limbs. Here's a view from the chest, nice wide chest. Just look at all that nice scale detail down there, and going down to the legs. And here's that seam again, just really just not liking that seam. Wish it could be blended a little bit better, but for 17 bucks, I really can't complain too much. There's just a couple critiques on this figure. Here's a close-up of the feet and those black claws, and then going down to the body, nice wide tail base, and going all the way down. Just those large scales at the tip of the tail are just really, really a weird design choice. But yeah, both versions I think are absolutely great. It's not a perfect Carnotaurus figure, but it's definitely up there. Moving on with comparisons, here it is with Collecte's 140 scale human. And let's do Howling Good's other theropod. Here it is with their Allosaurus, and I think the Carnotaurs are a better improvement over their Allosaurus. I wasn't like super, thrilled with it when I got it in hand. Just the Carnotaurs, because they're a little bit bigger, they have a little bit better detail and paint apps on it. Their upcoming Daspletosaurus looks absolutely fantastic, and yes, it does have lips. So their theropods are kind of like their weak point right now. All their herbivores have been absolutely stellar. So I'm really excited to see this company grow. I know that with their Dilophosaurus, a lot of people asked if it was going to have lips, and that's where it came up that it's really hard for them to tool the lips on these figures, so the Dilophosaurus can be sculpted with its mouth closed to give it the lip look. I'm fine with that. If they want to start sculpting some of these smaller theropods with their mouths open, as long as they have the lip look, I'm fine with that. I really don't care about the mouth articulation. And here it is with a bunch of other Carnotaurus figures from other companies. Like I said, this is a very, very popular dinosaur species. Up here we have Collectes, Papos, PNSOs, and Safari Limited. Now, as far as what is the best Carnotaurus for your collection, that's totally up to you. Right now, my definitive Carnotaurus in my collection is Safaris. With that figure, I did a 180 on this figure. When it first came out, I just thought it was too big and bulky. It just didn't look right. I always pictured Carnotaurus being a little bit slimmer and sleeker, but after seeing Prehistoric Planet with a much more chunkier Carnotaurus that was very, very horny with those blue arms, it made me really, really appreciate the Safari one, and that one's been my definitive Carnotaurus figure on my shelf. I still really like HAOLONGGOOD's attempt on it. I think they're two great figures. They're definitely going to get displayed. I have a dedicated HAOLONGGOOD shelf. Collecties is still a good figure. PNSO's now is just really, really lanky, and that skull is just way, way too narrow. And, you know, Papo's is just a glorified Disney version of Carnotaurus. So, yeah, there's, you know, plenty of options out there. And, as always, options are good. Let's do a close relative of Carnotaurus. Here it is with Safari Limited. Majungasaurus, and let's do a couple South American theropods. Here it is with PNSO's Stellar Mapusaurus. Absolutely, absolutely love this figure. And another one I love from PNSO. Here it is with Meraxus, which I think is one of the best painted figures PNSO has ever done. And lastly, send this for a group shot of some of HAOLONGGOOD's other dinosaurs. This isn't even all of them. There's a few species I left out just for the sake of just cramming everything into one shot. This goes to show just the sheer variety HAOLONGGOOD has been cranking out over the last few months. You know, the theropod is just absolutely magnificent. It's such a big, huge, bulky figure. And just, you know, all these are, you know, roughly in that 135 scale, which is a very, very popular collecting scale. And I just think they're absolutely killing it. Now, you know, most of the figures aren't perfect. You know, they have a couple things wrong with them here and there. But as a whole, the quality of their products, the sculpt and detail, and the paint jobs have been absolutely top-notch, especially for the price that you're paying for these. They're so low price. Most of these cost under $20. And that's insane. Like, you know, I love Safari. You're paying close to their prices. For some of their figures, and the paint jobs are not even close. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you have PNSO, which does absolutely fantastic work. And I always felt that products were a little overpriced, even though I keep buying them. But man, HAOLONGGOOD is just injecting some great competition into the dinosaur collecting market right now. They are just rapid fire. We have an Allosaurus on the way. Hooray, more 135 scale sauropods. They have amazing looking Daspletosaurus. I think they tease an Alamosaurus. We got the Dilophosaurus coming. Like every couple of weeks, they are just surprising us with what they are releasing. And it's just, I absolutely love this company. So final thoughts on HAOLONGGOOD's attempt at Carnotaurus. I think they did a really good job with this figure. I still feel that the theropods are their weakest point right now. Their herbivores have been absolutely stellar. But these are still two great Carnotaurus figures. They're in 135 scale, so they're going to fit into a lot of people's collection. I think overall, you know, I think these things are 95% good. You know, the biggest issue is just that lipless look and just like the lack of paint around the teeth. It really gives them a goofy appearance. But other than that, you know, the detail is really nice on here. It's much better than their Allosaurus. But, you know, hopefully, you know, as this company grows, they'll refine their sculpting techniques and they'll just keep getting better and better, because I feel like all their products, for the most part, are just getting better and better. And I do highly recommend these figures. And like I said at the beginning of the review, I'll leave a link down below to my preferred AliExpress store where I order all my HAOLONGGOOD products, my online toy store. Like they retail without the box, I think around like 17, 18 bucks, and that's an absolute steal compared to what we're paying for figures similar to this from other companies. And so that will do it for the review. I'm just trying to catch up here with some stuff. I just found the new Jurassic World and Nyctochirus. I actually have some Jurassic Transformers review, the official Hasbro release, and a third party. Eventually have to get to that. I got more HAOLONGGOOD stuff coming in. Got the Impellosaurus on its way. Just ordered the Daspletosaurus and you know, PNSO Yangchuanosaurus. Yes, I have a lot of stuff that's coming in. It is really tough to keep up sometimes. So yeah, stay tuned for all that. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously. It's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.